Hey guys, this is Nathan with LS3. Today we're going to be touching on Apple TV features and commonly overlooked commands that you may or may not be aware of. So feel free to jump to the section of the timeline that you would like to watch and anything that pertains to what you're looking for. But if you want to watch the whole video, you might actually learn something that you didn't know about before. So let's get right into it. So right here, we are navigating the Apple TV now. So we're gonna click on, let's go with app navigation first. So say I just downloaded a new app like this Disney Plus here, and I wanted to move this up to the top bar here. Fun fact, if you have stuff on this top bar, it will kind of give you some previews sometimes, like Prime Video is an example here, where it's got new shows that are coming out and or have just released. So sometimes I've actually been surprised sometimes if I navigate to or hover over one of my apps that I watch my shows on, I'm like, oh, I didn't realize the new season of that was out. So kind of cool. I usually like to watch have my main apps here on the top bar, just on the off chance that I see something that I maybe didn't know was out. So, but yeah, I navigated the Disney Plus up here by clicking and holding until you click the edit home screen here, and it'll start to wiggle. I don't know if you noticed, but it said I could also delete the app. So this is how you would delete an app as well. But you just click and hold, it'll start to wiggle. You can navigate it around, move it wherever you'd like. One thing to note is this is just for this specific Apple TV by default, but if you had like 4 or 5 of these Apple TVs throughout your house and you wanted them to kind of all be in sync, so if I move an app, if I download an app, I want it all to be the same no matter where I am in my house, there is a feature for that with Apple TV under Settings. You go to, let's get out of this, you go to Users and Accounts, you select the default user, and then under here, you've got one home screen. So you want that feature on. It'll actually prompt you to enable this upon initial activation when you're first syncing up your iPhone. So I would recommend leaving this on. There's obviously exceptions to the rule there. Say you had an Apple TV that you attached to your iTunes or your Apple ID at your office, and so you didn't want that to necessarily sync up with what you've got at your house as far as, somebody moves something at your workspace. I don't want it changing stuff on my house Apple TV. So, but 90% of the time you want that feature on just because it's nice that everything is always in the same place no matter what room I'm in. And if I change anything, it does it everywhere. So pretty cool feature there. You may or may not have been aware of that one. So common things that we are troubleshooting with customers with Apple TVs is, say an app is not opening, or an app doesn't work right, or something is weird with this specific app but it works on other apps, something like that. A lot of times you just need to close the app out and then reopen it. So to do that, a lot of people don't know you can do this because any app you've opened on the Apple TV is technically running in the background just like your iPhone. So your iPhone, you have to swipe up from the bottom and it kind of pulls up all the open apps in the background. To get to that page on the Apple TV, you just double tap this little TV icon. So if you double tap that, it'll pull up. You can swipe over and see that we've got the Settings app open, the App Store, YouTube TV, Peacock, Netflix, all this is open in the background. So this little center circle is a trackpad. You can just swipe up on that and it will kill the app that you're currently selected on. Another way to doing this is, say you were using one of our URC remotes. There is no trackpad, so you're like, how do I close it out then? You just do a double tap on the top arrow and that will close it out as well. So now that we've closed out all those apps, we go back to the main menu and then click back into that same one that was being a problem child, and then it should be working now. If it's not for some reason though, the only other thing that could really be causing that would be like an incompatibility with like iOS version. Something has been written for the app that's been updated and it's not compatible with the version of iOS that the Apple TV is on. So I'll show you how to change that now. So you go into Settings, you go into System, and then right here, Software Updates. So if you click on Software Updates, you know, ours, it said it was set to automatically update. For whatever reason, it's not always the case. It doesn't automatically update every time with Apple TV, so it's recommended that, you know, you check this every once in a while. Go in here, click Update Software. Yeah, prime example. This one already has Apple TV Update available for it, even though we had automatic updates. So you would click Download and Install. For the sake of this video, I'm not going to click that, but you just let it do its thing. It'll download the new update. There's an application part of that update. It takes about 15 minutes round trip, and then you should be spit back out to the main menu once it's done. And then, you know, at that point, go to your app, try and open it. It should be working now. On the off chance it isn't working still, the only other place you should check is under the App Store itself. Say it was Netflix we were having the issue with. If you just navigate, there's Netflix right there, luckily. We click on that, and then right here is where you would see, instead of it saying open, it would say update available. You would click that, let it do its thing, and then you can click open, and then we should be, you know, working, whereas before we weren't. So the only other thing that can sometimes happen, say you've had like a power surge or a power outage, something like that, and the Apple TV is just being weird. It's you know, doing odd things, you know, certain features aren't working right. A lot of times electronics just need a good old-fashioned power cycle every once in a while, which means physically unplugging it from the wall. Luckily, Apple TV has a means of doing that through the interface, and you don't actually have to physically get up behind your TV or wherever your Apple TV is located and physically unplug it. You can just go into the settings menu. It's actually under that same section under System right here, Restart. So we can actually just hit Restart. It will be the same as me unplugging it and rebooting it, and that's a good, you know, trick to have in your back pocket. Just if anything's being weird with the Apple TV, you can try just restarting the whole system and see if that fixes it for you. Don't hit reset unless you're, you know, moving. If you're moving from house to house and you're going to leave the Apple TV behind, it's actually a good practice to go and reset it so that the new person isn't using all of your signed in apps. Reset would actually factory default your Apple TV. So that's how you do that as well. The only other thing that we really should touch on is maybe, say you want to AirPlay something to your Apple TV, like I've got a video on my phone, or I wanted to sling, you know, whatever that is up on the screen. You can, so to get to that hub where you can do all that, you can either tap the power button or you can long press the TV button. So if I long press the TV button, it'll pull up the menu. And just to show you, I'm gonna go ahead and just tap the power button. Boom. So same menu, both instances of that. You can do a lot of stuff from here. You could turn off the physical Apple TV right here, which puts it into standby mode. But any devices, if you have CEC enabled, will turn those off as well. So this would be a quick and easy way to like turn off your TV, turn off everything. You know, for simpler systems that are just using like an Apple TV and a few devices. That's a cool way to just turn off your whole system right there. Sleep timer would be like, I'm gonna go to bed but watching TV, but if I accidentally fall asleep, I don't want my TV on all night. You could set a sleep timer right there to automatically shut off, say, an hour from now. And if I fall asleep in that hour, it'll turn off for me in the background. And then like right here where it says Sales Mac Mini, we're actually AirPlaying right now. But if I click on this, you know, this is where you could actually sling the audio from this. You see how it says speakers? I could sling the audio of this Apple TV to any of these other devices here. For instance, if you had some like Sonos speakers or network-based speakers, those would appear here, and I could actually just sling this audio to those. Pretty cool feature there that you can actually kind of circumvent your TV audio and have it play out of somewhere that's maybe a little bit less conventional. And this is also where you would go to see those AirPlay devices. But typically, AirPlay is a kind of like a one-way street from the streaming device, so I would actually be going to my phone and slinging that video to my Apple TV, not necessarily in reverse. So, but slinging that audio is more what I would do from that menu more commonly. So touching on the phone now, speaking of the phone, you can actually fully control your Apple TV with strictly your iPhone, which is a really handy tool if you're going to be typing a lot or like a lot of usernames and passwords. So the initial syncing of all these apps, Netflix, YouTube, getting those logins set up, I recommend doing it this way using your phone because the iOS plays nice and it's just a nice feature being able to just type quickly on your phone. So to do that, usually initially whenever you're first syncing up your Apple TV, it will prompt you to sync your iPhone. And then if you do it that way, it will, copy in all your Wi-Fi settings, all that stuff. And then another thing it will do is it will automatically download the Apple TV remote app into your hub in the top right-hand corner, which I'll show you this now. So swipe down from the top right-hand corner. And now that we're in this little menu here, you can notice in the bottom right of my screen, I have a remote, Apple TV remote icon. It looks very similar to the Apple TV remote. If I click on that, if I've connected to the Apple TV before, it will automatically select it, which it shows up here. Sales Boardroom is the one we want. If we click on that little drop down at the top, it will show up here. So for instance, if I want to click on Lobby, which this could be Master Bedroom as an example for you guys. If I click on Lobby, it should pop up with something like this, where it wants me to enter in a passcode. That passcode will pop up on the screen. You type in that 4-digit code, and once that's done, then away you go. It should be controlling it at that point. So for the sake of the video, I'm going to jump back into Sales Boardroom, and boom, my phone is now controlling the Sales Boardroom. This whole gray square here is a trackpad, so I can kind of click and navigate and move around as I see fit. All the same buttons, pause, play, back button, and that TV icon that we were closing out apps and stuff with before. All of that is there, but where it's really handy is, like, say if I go into the App Store or if I'm logging into Netflix the initial time, and I go to a page where I can type stuff. See right here, it pulled up a screen where I can literally type now, and let's say we want to search for the Peacock app. Boom, hit go. Yeah, and there it is, Peacock. I can click on that, and if I wanted to download it, boom, you can do it from here. But yeah, you get the idea. It's a really powerful way of controlling the Apple TV, and just a quicker way of getting all of that information typed in versus using the silver remote or one of our URC remotes, just navigating and clicking letter by letter. Obviously that can get pretty tedious when you have a bunch of apps that connect up. So definitely recommend using the iPhone remote control to get that done, and it'll save you a lot of time. So again, if there's any features or commands that you wanted me to touch on that I didn't today, feel free to leave those in the comment section. We'd be happy to kind of read through those, and maybe we make a follow-up, more like advanced deep dive into Apple TV and any of those features that maybe we didn't cover. But these are kind of like common practice, good ways to reset and kind of fix stuff on your own, hopefully. And then if obviously you have any further issues, feel free to call us and we'd be happy to help you guys out. So again, my name's Nathan with LS3. Have a nice day.